Okay, what we have here is a Deutz tractor cylinder head. It's a 6-cylinder. I'm not sure about the cc's, probably about, I don't know, about 6 litre, I should imagine. And the guy's been having trouble getting the injector seats to seal. And looking at them, this one's quite dirty. It's covered in soot and all the sealing face is dirty. And when you look down the tunnels where the injectors go, because this is a in-head direct injection, they're not looking good. They're looking a bit pitted and corroded. So I've been scratching my head for a few days on how to deal with that down there, and I don't have a cutter quite big enough in diameter to hand, and all the kits you get online are really for car engines and aluminium cylinder heads, but one kit I found had a cutter that was big enough. And usually you drive the cutter by hand with a hand tool, and it wouldn't touch it. It just wouldn't touch it, and it was wobbling around all over the place because it's not quite the right tool. In the car cylinder head, this area here would be guided by the tunnel that's in the head, and the tunnel in this case is much bigger than this, so there was no way by hand to keep it straight. But we can keep it straight on the milling machine. I had to machine the top of this driver slightly so that it would fit into a collet, and now at least we can hold it square, perpendicular to the head. The head's not bolted down. There's not enough force here to kick it about. It's too heavy for this to move. We've done a couple. I've taken some pictures I can show you in a bit. I've done a couple and they've worked out great. They've come up fine. It's a bit of a Heath Robinson way of doing it, but it's doing it. Put some power on and we'll have a go. Now it's got a pilot, so it'll sort of find its own way in the hole to an extent. And what I'm doing is eyeballing it. Which seems to get us there. Really hard for me to see with the tool in there. But I just want to make sure I get it all. That looks good to me. I've already done a couple before I started filming, as I've been messing about with this for a couple of hours trying to find a cutter suitable to do this job. I've looked at milling cutters, boring heads, you name it. I've had everything out that I've got, and this is the best way I can come up with. Good. All these seats were really dirty, and some of them had a little bit of pitting, so it's been an issue for a while. Go there. Enough. Bit of pitting on this one. Still more to go. This one's quite bad. Touch more. Just blow that out. Perfect. Yep. That's good. Just double check. now that the cutter's completely out of the way. And that is that. That's done. So I'll leave you there for a minute. I've got to turn this head over and skim the face now. So I'll be back shortly. Okay. So here's the Deutz. Is it Deutz? Deutz? Whatever they call it. We've got it turned over and we're just about ready to give it a reface. It's quite dirty and disgusting, so you should get quite a nice image out of this. See what happens. Sure. Yep, ready to go. Stop that a minute. I've got it set to alright, 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch a minute. That is not going to do. It'll be forever. Now let's get on to the right setting. C, 6, 8, put it on 8 and 7/8. Call it 9 inches per minute. There we go. Not working. I think the tip's dull, which wouldn't be surprising considering the last job I used it for, which was the tractor steering box with the induction hardened material that we were working on. So, we're going to change the cutter around. These, I'll bring my phone up so I can see what I'm doing. Right, I think you can see that. WNMG 08 size CBN cutter. I've used that one, we've just used that one. Now we're going to turn to that tip there, so that gives us 3 cutting edges, and if you turn it over you get another 3, so you've got 6 cutting edges with these. I'll just zoom in, see if I can get you a better picture. Just bear with me a second. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, so we get 6 cutting tips, which makes them quite economical compared to other inserts. the styles and insert. So just turn that round. I've just added 1 thou, but that didn't really touch it, so let's skim it again and see what happens. This is a really hard material. I can tell by the way it's cutting and the way it's sounding. This will be really tough on the inserts. Give that another thou and go again. So there we are. That is done. Not sure what it looks like in the camera, but it looks really nice from here. Let's take a video on my phone. See what we can get. Oh yes, that does look nice. Take a little video with the phone, but you have to remember to do it in portrait. For a short, you have to remember to go slow because you want 15 seconds. And we'll stick that in a photo editor and zazz it up a bit and make a short out of it. But anyway, for the purpose of this video, that is done. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Oh, and by the way, while I'm thinking about it, a couple of people have mentioned the dogs. I do have a dog channel. Not a lot on it. Well, there is, I suppose. I train sheepdogs as a hobby. So if that's your thing, I'll put a link down below. Thank you. So, what did we learn? Well, we learnt that we can't find a cutter, or I should say, I couldn't find a cutter that was correct for this size and application. So I bought the best I could get my hands on, which is one of these kits, which proved to be wholly inadequate. But for those watching, what these are is, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Yeah, for those watching, what these are sets to do aluminium heads, really. The cutters are just not up to the task of cutting iron heads. What you do is you pick the cutter with the diameter of your tunnel and the diameter of your face. There's several combinations in here. We had the face, but we didn't have the diameter of the tunnel, which would be that. It's too small. So it's driven by this unit. By this unit with a little Allen key to lock it into place, and you've got your pilot there. Most mod injectors are built to a certain standard and the pilots will fit each one, so you just pick the cutter to suit your particular vehicle. And what I had to do was machine this, just machine the corners off that so that it would fit into a collet, so I could hold it on the milling machine. It's still enough flat to use it manually, if the need should be, which no doubt will come at some point. By using it in the milling machine, it didn't matter that this size was wrong, because we could hold it steady in the milling machine and the pilot would still go through the centre hole. They're quite cheap kits. They're okay for an alloy head. I have done my Land Rover Discovery 2 cylinder head, which is a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder. I had some major problems with that in this regard, and I used one of these kits very successfully. I still got the car several years later. It worked an absolute treat. Don't be afraid to give it a go, but I did push it beyond what it was designed for and got away with it just. So that's not too bad. So there's a what have I learnt. What have I learnt? I could make a cutter. The problem with making a cutter for one-off jobs is the cost. It'd probably take me more time to make the cutter than the rest of the whole job would take. Well, if it would take me much more time. So that gets rather expensive for somebody. So we have to find alternatives. If we were to do this on a regular basis, then I would indeed make a cutter. No question about it. Make my life a bit simpler in that scenario. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you got something from it, and until next time, take care.